Hi Leo, welcome back for your November reading. If you're wanting to make a booking, you can go to the link directly below. Otherwise, if I have forgotten to put it up, I apologise. It will be on another video, but I'm hoping I'm organised. Okay, some of the videos have been longer than others, and that depends on the energy that's coming through. If you are wanting to make a booking closer to Christmas in January, I strongly suggest you get in early because it will be filling up. I will be having a short space of time over the Christmas break off, but I will be doing emergency readings. So you can email me if you're needing an emergency booking and I will fit you in. And if you're having trouble with the time zones, there is an app connected to the website that you can access to do the time changes. Now, do remember I am in Perth, WA, so there is a difference in time connected to Europe. And for those of you who are in Perth, WA, big hello. And if you're wanting a group session, I do group sessions. There's no call-out fee, but there is a limitation. You have to have certain amount of numbers. The information's on the website anyway. And last but not least, the shop is open. I have connected postage. I will see how it goes. I will change it up. I am looking for a freight company that perhaps can offer that service cheaper, but at this stage that is the cost for dispatch due to weight and sizings. Now, okay, for your reading, a lot of the energy of what we had last month was very much connected to house. Now, the subject as such may have come up in some shape or form in conversation, or an aspect connected to house may have come up. Now, if this is directly relevant for you, this could be anything to changing the way you're using the house, visitors coming, people moving, anything directly connected to home. Now, this year we've had an absolute shake-up in our charts, and it's connected to us changing vibrationally as human beings and what we directly feel is relevant for us for the future. So this was like a foundation building for our new beginning next year. So although it has been quite a heavy energy, not as much as the year prior where we had no forward motion as far as I'm concerned, because it was a very heavy energy where you felt like you were pushing things uphill, but maybe doing 20 steps ahead, but result-wise really seeing not as many results as we would have liked to, regardless of the energy. Also, the energy we would have placed in certain situations would have been spread extremely thin. And that's because every area was coming up last year. Now, this year has been the same, except we've had the ability to spread it over the entire year. So anything directly connected to us as a whole, emotionally speaking, in our soul, to actually change, that has been coming up for many. And they're blocks connected to, you know, why we had no forward motion in our life, what was holding us back from certain areas, our home, our jobs, our friendships. All of these areas, including our relationships with partners, have been in highlight. So it has been a shake-up and it has been a roller coaster ride, but it's paved the way for your new beginning. And it's actually, in turn, although it has been a healing time and a painful time at times, in trigger points coming up, what it's creating is, it's like a counselling session, so to speak, a self-counselling session to get to the grit of what you're needing to do so that next year, come January, if you have done the work and you haven't swept issues directly under the carpet, you're ready for that very firm foundation to set your intentions. So the next 3 months of readings are going to be very much based around your foundation, where you're needing to work on it, you know, anything directly connected to relationships. I'm really not the type of reader to look at a situation from a negative point of view. Every negative is a positive, and it's directly come into your life for a direct reason, not to punish you, but to strengthen you and to guide you to the correct path. So Any aspects that are happening directly outside of yourself that one could say is nasty are direct trigger points internally that are morphing into your reality within your life. You need to address them and look at them and wonder why yourself, in a sense, have manifested these things into fruition to challenge you to deal with these energies directly. So even the heavy energies have been there for a purpose, but they're there to heal you and to help remove old blocks. This month's energy will still have a direct aspect directly connected to home. So that subject will be back on the table, but more in a process of making plans and looking at it from a very real perspective. Also, the verbalization directly connected to this will be really forcing us to communicate our truths connected to things. And this is going to be very challenging because the ironic thing is, although I meditated on the month as a whole and then in each zodiac sector, when I was briefly looking at each zodiac sign, I found that many that were generally verbal and very good and direct with their communications were reserving that and not communicating. But it was tactical. It was more, they were choosing to use their energy in the reverse of what they naturally did. And that's what the trigger point's going to be. It's going to be to a point where you're, what's the word? It's right there. The response in which you're going to give is going to be completely opposite to your natural way of doing things. So if you're quite assertive and quite verbal, you're going to take a different stance and you're going to communicate it by testing scenarios and letting them play out in front of you before casting an assessment and communicating your needs. Some of these subjects that are going to come into highlight are directly connected to past tense energies. So it might have been a conversation you had in relation to an area that is in highlight for you, and where the challenge is coming up for the communication, you're stepping back and you're taking your aspect of the control away, and you're testing the theory of giving a person the benefit of the doubt to do what they need to do without your verbal communication to impact it as a guide, because for some of you, you've felt you have guided and you're reserving your energy back to let nature take its course. So however this will directly relate, if you've been more passive, you will be more aggressive. But the key to it is try and be aware of that and be cautious connected to the way in which you're going to communicate, and you will get the best result out of the situation. So it's testing you to see whether you're going to step into your power and use that energy like a power, like a king or a queen, and communicate your truth. You're also looking at situations where, again, it will be similar energy. It's time to step up. Now, this scenario can be directly connected to your opinion of others or your opinion of self. It directly depends on where you feel this will be relevant for you. And again, how you use the energy connected to that is going to be crucial this month. Please, if trigger points come up this month, please do directly look at them a bit like a mirror and deal with them directly. Please don't sweep them under the carpet and leave them till later, because the next 2 months will be very energetic, where any loose ends are going to be tied up prior to January coming. Now, if you haven't done the work during the year, it's going to get heavier as the weeks progress. So if an issue crops up, deal with it directly and cast it to the side and move to the next energy. That way, if it is very heavy, take it as an absolute positive. The universe is saying to you, you're ready to deal with these aspects. Try not to take it personally. Look at it as a challenge, because it's saying to you that what's to come in the new year needs that stable foundation, so that only what directly relates to you will be current and present in your life. And don't get paranoid as I've said that, because I do have a family member that's this zodiac sign, and I know, don't read too much into it. Go with the flow. Your energy will be directly yours, individually, even if all of Leo's, and see how it relates. Okay. Couples, what's going on with you guys? Now, I have found that relevant energies connected to couples and singles are still relevant in some shape or form. A lot of old related issues, and especially old relationships, are coming back in, or have been relevant this year, to actually assess, purge, decide. So for those of you who were in a relationship and then fell out of a relationship, even if this was many years ago, areas directly connected to that will be coming up. And this would have been throughout the year at different intervals. And you intuitively know the reasons why these things have come up. So it's not that you're directly taking it personally. You're very on cue with the reasons why trigger points directly connected to, be it you're coupled or you're single, have come up for you, and you're assessing and processing them. And at times it is painful, but you're also feeling very grounded in that energy, that even for those of you who were in a relationship before, had the break, and then have got into a new one this year, even if you're single and you're assessing getting into one this year, you're still, both of you, directly dealing with the energies connected to past scenarios, past hurts and trigger points, and feeling grateful for what it was and sending it with peace for what it is now, however that looks, be it your friends or your co-parents, however it directly looks, and looking at what you have before you, and either knowing that you're hopeful that they're happy, but you are going to find or have currently happiness. And that can be the trigger, in a sense, where it's hard to understand why vibrationally you didn't receive that energy when you were with a separate scenario. And this could have even been connected to childhood if you've only ever had one partner. It's where there was a lack in some shape or form connected to relationships, connected to your communication and any aspect coming up this month. And why now you look at what you're having, and it is very different, yet the triggers connected to things that hurt you are coming up, and you're looking at it going, oh, I don't really want that to happen again. Yet you know deep down it's not. But they're triggers connected to the past, which is making you feel pain and sadness that you could have had what you have now many moons ago. But that wasn't to be, because you wouldn't be who you are today had you not lived through that. So it's a blessing in a way, but a curse in another. You just need to look at it, feel it, and let it go, whoever this is directly related to. Okay, couples. Okay. Your partner is very new in some aspect of something they're currently doing with you, and directly connected to you. You know, sometimes they're not feeling as educated or prepared or knowledgeable as you are, or connected to a change that's currently happening. They were a bit ill prepared connected to it, but they're doing the very best they physically can. They will get past that energy. It's more a factor of their mindset and the way they look at things. I feel they're a bit more insecure than you are. That's not a bad thing. Again, look at their rising signs or their zodiac and see what's going on with them and the reasons why these triggers are coming up for them. But the way they're looking at something, they've got a bit of nervous energy. They have good intent connected there, but they're feeling nervous connected to things, so they're doing the best they can. You feel the innocence connected to them, and you feel this is an innocent new relationship, so you're sort of easing yourself through it. Now, for those of you who this is a very old situation, an old relationship where you've been in for a while, there is an innocence about you, in a sense, where you're innocent, but you're strong and you have the tools in life. And sometimes you don't look at yourself as a strong leader that you actually are, because you're reserving your energy to a point of gentleness or patience and tolerance instead of being, you know, how they're feeling currently. That's about the only way I can say it. You're both on the same road, but the way you're dealing with the energy is very different. But you're being patient and you're looking at it, and it kind of does amuse you. But at the same time, you're thinking you're actually not in over your head. Where you are is where I was many moons ago. I can directly relate to how you're feeling, but you're removing your energy so that they can step into their power. Does that make sense? I'm hoping it does. Okay, you're using your intuition directly connected to the confusion and the ill vibration that they have, connected to their insecurities perhaps. And, you know, you're looking at it as a beautiful, innocent scenario and you're feeling that way. And maybe you're not seeing everything. Maybe it's still you feel on cloud nine connected to this. And you're being very giving in a sense of understanding, connected to how they're physically feeling, but there's not a lot of clarity. I do feel by a full moon there's going to be clarity connected to their energy and what's going on between you. But your instincts are telling you something's not quite right. Now they're feeling very, you know, full and connected to you, but something in you is changing. So it's directly not their energy. Like I said before in the general, a lot of what's going on with you isn't about your relationship. It's directly connected to previous hurts. And it doesn't necessarily mean you want to go back to a previous scenario. It's more directly connected to the fact that because you do have something that's quite innocent and joyful, you're looking at it and thinking back to a time where perhaps you didn't. And you're thinking, is this all just too good to be true? You do have sympathy towards, you know, in a way, I almost feel you're looking at your partner as slightly naive and romanticizing the notion of relationships. Yet it's like you've got a wall up and you're thinking, well, I'm very happy that you feel this in love with me, but why aren't you guarding your heart? Yet that's not what it's about, you know. It is causing you confusion because you are going back over old ground and looking at things. So it's, again, like I'm saying, it's directly not connected to your partner. It feels like a beautiful connection. It feels like a trigger directly connected to the past is cropping up. You're holding the energy back in a sense of the communication because you don't wish to impact or hurt your relationship. But the hurt and the burdens are being carried, are actually being released. You do have the power in this relationship, the both of you, and there are a lot of connections between you that is so very strong. But definitely this month, follow your intuition towards your psychic abilities, your dreams, your instincts, because they're going to be crucial to understanding what exactly is going on to the core in the situation. Your partner is feeling a little bit like they're lacking in some areas and they're at a bit of a loss internally, but they are romantically connected to you. So it's more, again, something about what's happening with them. And I do feel it's an emotional ride for them because this feels very new in a sense, whatever they're directly dealing with. So although they're feeling like they're opening up, for some reason, you can see the potential, but then you're closing down. And as you're closing down, it's not because you don't feel blessed connected to this connection. It's because you're now having those triggers come up to process it. And you're trying to do it very protectively and innocently, which there's no harm in processing that energy. But you almost feel rude. I wouldn't say rude, betrayed, or like you're betraying them by having these trigger emotions coming up, like it's a wrong thing. They do understand, and I do feel a conversation will or has been had. And for many of you, I do feel a movement away from a location or a wish to move away from a location due to a past tense scenario. This is only for some of you, but it is feeling that energy is coming through. Now, you do know if you go through a certain door and keep going, you might have to dig all the dirt up connected to the emotions. It also is directly connected to once you let that wall down, they are coming in and there's no turning back. And you feel this and you're really kind of having, some of you are having sleepless nights because you are at a decision point. And again, I do feel for November, this is very relevant. Real decision making happening, real planning happening, where you're very serious about it. Now, whatever this decision's going to be, it's going to come about for you like a light bulb moment, and the clarity will be very, very heavy. Also, what you're going to find is the healing is going to be like that, and it's going to move real quick. I'm sorry, I can't help you right now. I'm recording a video. I will help you later. That's my daughter. She's asking me for something from the bathroom. Well, I can't really help you right now because I'm recording a video. We're at 20 minutes. Do you think we've got time? Okay, I've got one more section, which is the singles, and then I can help you. Sorry. So when my sister watches this video, she's going to really be laughing. Big congratulations to my sister for her 3rd child. Before we do that, pull 3 cards for couples. Okay. You're going with the flow, and I feel you're allowing this situation to unfold naturally, or that's the advice. However you feel, you are using this energy. Something you're feeling is frustrating you. Doesn't directly feel connected to the relationship necessarily. You're going with the flow and you're watching the energy. As I said, many of you will come to a point where you need to verbalize, or you would guide, and now you're reserving that right. You're taking that away to, it's a bit like a teacher. And that's not to say, you know, certain people of us are more superior. It's more to the point of, in the old way in which you did things, you're now changing that up to see whether people with the freedom of will, which we have, will do the right thing. Okay, there is no deception here, so you can rest assured, and I think vibrationally speaking, you're aware of this. So an old trigger may be deception. But you need to step into that energy of pulling that wall down due to a past tense scenario so you can feel safe again. Because it will block it, and your partner is feeling this abundance of love connected to you, and it's actually hindering that forward motion. Please don't feel guilty connected to that. I don't feel they're going to run off to the hills and run away. I feel it's more, you need to do the work so that you can enjoy that luxury of that full cup, because it's very full. Singles. Okay, you're really stuck at the moment. I feel for a lot of you, you're socializing and you're also questioning whether you're ready. And that's for the couples and the singles. You're also wondering where to from here for the singles. Now, the reason is because you're still assessing a previous situation. Again, it doesn't have to be relationship based. It can be that, you know, you're working long hours, so you're wondering whether this can fit into your life, a love relationship. Whatever it is, or whoever it's directly connected to. I'm feeling for some of you, this is directly connected to a past tense person. You're socializing and mixing it with friendships. work colleagues, keeping busy. There is a happy outcome. It is coming, and you to the core do know this, but you're processing internally and emotionally speaking. You don't want to move away from a situation that you're pondering at the moment. That's where you're at. Okay, initially a business venture and something you're currently working on, or a previous scenario you were working on, appears to be boding well, or appeared to be. Again, however it directly relates. Your money, however, impacted you. And you felt like you were going backwards. You almost felt like it was the universe's way of trapping you, in a sense connected to not being able to have that forward movement or to move towards a road that you wanted to. Due to this breakdown, if it was directly connected to a previous situation, it may have been a loss of a job or an inability to concentrate at work that's coming through. There will be a connection to a person making a love offer to you. Now, there's two main signs coming through, but again, I don't like to focus on that because it can be that the person, in a water sign can be very emotional, or it can be that they're very grounded, with the earth signs. So don't always take it directly for the zodiac signs. To me, the way I read cards is more from a psychic perspective than the actual tarot reader's aspect of doing things. Visually speaking, I'm more a visual, and the energy is especially heavy when I'm reading the person directly. It's you just haven't completely made your mind up connected to what you're going to do. There are trigger points connected to, it could be for some of you, Christmas coming up. And you're sort of thinking, and the new year, and where has the year gone? It just feels like you're really beating yourself up. And I can see time being an aspect that you might need to make a decision because you were choosing a certain path and you're feeling you're running out of time. It's very anxious energy. You're also wondering whether this change has happened, but a lot of you internally has physically changed. So you're wondering whether the new you fits anywhere. Okay, at the moment you're feeling you don't have as much control over your thoughts. That's directly connected to the fact that these triggers are coming up. So try not to take it personally. Try not to think you're going crazy. When they're coming up, just directly work with them and sweep them out of that pan and into the bin and keep going. Okay, look at your childhood. Your childhood is directly a trigger. Situations that directly affected your parents are not going to affect you. You are not rewriting that. It's different. It was neither good nor bad. It was their road. This is your road. Now free yourself from that mindset and move forward. Okay, you need to have faith and you need to ground yourself, and I would advise a purple stone to get a bit of cleansing. And I've just completely drawn a blank. Amethyst. It's my mother's birthstone. Again, throat chakra you got in reverse. So if you're choosing not to talk to someone or communicate how you feel, it's because you're yet to see. You haven't seen what you need to see as yet. So take your eye off the watch. Wait for it to unfold. If your gut is telling you to do that, you need to do that. It's actually hindering your creativity at work and your forward motion. So I feel as though it's saying more so, do what you, follow your gut. Don't jump. I don't feel there's an urgency in a sense of having to, although on the 3D we might say, well, a job offer's come up, I'm going to have to make up my mind. If it is not relevant to you, the job, and it's not worth more than the relationship, you would never choose the job. So never fair in a sense that you would choose the wrong road. There is no wrong or right road. There's the correct road at that given second. So if it's got to be that way, it's the way it's got to be. If you want a reading, you can press the link, and I'll see you later. Bye.